Ladies and gentlemen, the Dangerous Experiments update is here. And today what we're going to do is have a little bit of a look. We're going to have a little bit of a play and see what it's all about. We have 3 new experimental weapons, a whole revamp of the schematics tree and crafting system. This update is brilliant. As well as that are performance fixes. And those performance fixes, holy crap. I've been playing for about 3 to 4 hours so far, and you can tell the difference. They are working really, really well. It might not be the same for others, but for me and a lot of the community, my Discord community especially, we are all having much better FPS. There's no more stutters, which is wicked. It's good that they've got that under wraps. I've also heard that a lot of console players are being able to play very easily now with no crashing, and you can jump on the bikes, you can go nuts. Later on we'll even do an example when we come over to one of these 4-star or high level bases where normally there's a lot of issues, but not anymore. Let's jump in and check out the Dangerous Experiments update. So I currently only have 2 of the experimentals. The RNG gods have been good. We have the experimental KVM-89 and also the 4-4 Magnus, which they should have named the Pontus. Very disappointed that they didn't do that. They're both cool-ish. They're quite cool. I want the hunting rifle though. That is what I'm after. But you know how RNG this is. I ain't getting the hunting rifle today. So the 2 experimentals I've got are the experimental Magnus, which is sort of like a shrapnel. It's like a grenade type thing. If you've got a big bunch of enemies all grouped up, then it does work pretty well. But against solo enemies, especially at a distance, not so much. I think the best thing about this is the actual look of it and the laser sight. But when you actually shoot an enemy, you can see the shrapnel sort of fly out the back, which I really, really like. It's similar to sparks that you'd see when you shoot machines, but you can definitely tell that there's a difference. And I quite like it. I like the sounds that it makes as well. It sounds like it's ripping through the machine components, which I think is awesome. It just sounds cool, looks cool, and it is actually quite fun to use. Obviously, when you whack some potentially experimental ammo in here, you could see a completely different side to this weapon, and it could be a million times better. But that is for another video. Next is the experimental KVM-89. This thing is very fun to use. It is very hard to actually aim. As you can tell by that giant ass ring there, you have to get relatively close, which is a shame, but it's actually quite fun. Especially when you get it into... It's similar to the SMG, the Capist, where the more you're firing, the more damage that it does. It goes into a sort of overdrive state. But as you can see by the little radar that keeps popping up along the bottom, and on the actual carry handle there, it has a heat limit. And when it reaches that heat limit, you have to stop firing. And it reaches it pretty damn quick. But there are benefits to actually getting it up to that limit. Because as you can see here, if I hold it, it turns basically into a laser. And the damage that it does as well is really, really substantial. This could be a good little contender for a weapon. The only downside, like I said, is obviously the distance. You've got to be pretty damn close. Because, I mean, you can... It is tough, but I've got it there a few times where you work it hard enough that you actually can keep it in that overheated state without it going into full overheat. Where... You know, you just got to time it just right. But obviously that's another thing to keep your eyes on, which is a bit of a problem, and it's the last thing you want in combat. You don't want to be too busy staring at that little gauge and then realise all of a sudden, oh shit, I'm being shot by God knows what, and hundreds of different machines are coming at me. And then you run the risk of overheating as well, which when you obviously overheat, you have to stop firing, hold off for a while, and then go straight back into it when you've actually got that. Oh, he got me. Next up is the schematics tree. Now this thing is brilliant. This is such a better way to get schematics through Generation 0. As you can see, I'm already a nice way through, but the main way that you used to be able to get them was from machines. Now, being able to actually get them through this system, it's going to make things so much easier. It's a shame we don't get the points from everything back in the day, because we would all have hundreds of points and we'd be able to buy them all and it would be amazing. But the way you actually gain these points is through defeating machines. So head out there, destroy as many rivals as possible. That seems to be the best way to get them. You get 1 point per rival, so you're going to have to get your map and region scores pretty damn high to get all of these points. But as you can see, we have an experimental branch, we have an equipment branch, an ammo branch, and also a DLC one. Now, most of you will probably already have all of these apart from the equipment unlocked already, and that is because the equipment is something that we don't actually have yet. This is all new, so as you can see, we can get a gas tank, radio, field radio, energy, emergency flares, car batteries, fireworks, boom boxes, sticky flares, and then right at the bottom, the best one, the adrenaline shot. Pretty damn cool, right? Absolutely buzzing. Just for this piece alone, I think that is brilliant and one of the best bits of the update. So for the apparel, as I said, the way you get these ones is for defeating rivals. Basically, they did say they come with some challenges. And if you look down at the bottom here, this is how you actually do it. So apparel schematic points will be found by defeating rivals. Experimental points will be found from completing base assaults and defense missions. Equipment by crafting equipment or found as loot when exploring the world. And ammo is acquired by crafting ammo or found as loot when exploring the world. And then a DLC by acquiring DLC items. So I'm assuming for these ones you buy the DLC and then you just get them. It does seem that way. Obviously, the majority of people already have a lot of the DLCs, so this should just come straight with it. And next up are these little buddies. These are awesome. These are collectible figurines, and I believe there's 8 in total. And what these do is unlock the story of the Russians, how they became what they are and how they got here, and the struggles that they faced on their journey to Osterton, which is actually really interesting. I love the backstory of the collectibles in this game, and I have a feeling this one is going to shape up to be one of, if not the best set of stories. So once I've got all of these, I will get a nice little video together. For now, though, they are quite hard to find, so stick around for more. So after a few hours of playing, the massive improvements to performance are definitely working out very, very well. I've taken on a few level 4 bases, and explosions are registering, enemies are popping up clearly. Everything is working much better than what it was. I think performance-wise, they have nailed this one. This is definitely a step in the right direction, if not the right direction. Because I've heard also that there's no crashes, or little to no crashes, which is even better. And running around the bases blowing stuff up, like I say, there's no lag. It doesn't just disappear. The explosions don't just stop coming. And it doesn't matter how deep you get into the base, how many enemies you've got coming. It works. And it's brilliant. It's so nice to have it, you know, smooth again. Also, we're at one of the new bases, which, you know, quite cool, right? They've made a few changes to the bases, which I do quite like. I think they look awesome. Only a couple of the bases in the actual farmlands themselves. The rest of them are still as they were. But it's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Just, it feels much smoother. FPS stays high. The reason I've come to a level 4 location, and the reason I have been going to them to test it, is because these were the culprits. These would always cause problems. You'd always have an issue here, but not anymore. And we're back in this location for the next part of the video, because this is one of the areas that has had a revamp. As you can see all along here, we have trenches. Now, for the map's sake, this is where that area is. There are 3 locations that have been revamped, but we'll look into the others at another time. I just want to see this one and show you guys what it is. They've done quite well. So they've basically sort of fortified the area around the base. And it's in the farmland, so, you know, we've got another set of sort of bunkers and nice little channels, which obviously guys would have ran through to avoid shots from the enemy machines, and it just looks cool. I always have loved the trench type that they've actually put in, especially around the bottom end of the farmlands when you just come into it. So all of this area just down here, I think it's It looks awesome, it feels cool, and it is great for combat. It's so much fun to fight in. They've not utilised this as much as the other ones, I don't think, but still, it's a nice little feature. It's a new little area, and it's quite cool. And you got to have your railings there as well, you know. Safety first, because we're in the middle of a war zone, and you've got to be careful what goes on in these war zones, you know. You don't want anyone to die from a trip hazard. As you can see here, there's not too many bodies or anything around, which is a shame, because normally these places are brilliant for loot. Especially the original ones. The amount of loot that you can get from them is insane. If you're looking in the right places as well, there's a lot of good hidden loot. Oh, I just can't aim with this thing. Got him. So yeah, not too many bodies though, which is very strange. I would have thought there'd be a hell of a lot more around here. And that has been your lot from me today. We'll be back later on this afternoon looking at the new weapon pack, the Eastern European weapons. Looks pretty damn cool, but is it worth a buy? Tune in later on and find out. For now though, I've been Wired, you've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.